Shalom. I'm going to start off with all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Wachash. Honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders, the great millstone, and salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening, pushing forward this word with truth and sincerity, and your few Akwat as well, that's listening with sincerity. I'm the brother Machaya from the camp GMS Montreal, coming back with another lesson. And this one I'm going to entitle it, Try to Eat the Best Out of the Worst. Okay, try to eat the best out of the worst, right? Because we know that the foods within this current rulership is defiled, as it was indeed prophesied in Ezekiel that we would eat our bread defiled among the Gentiles. Okay, especially for brothers that's in the heart of it in Babylon. They have the most polluted food. Okay, but regardless, that doesn't give you an excuse to not take care of your diet, man. To watch what you put within your temple. Okay? Because Satan can come in your mind and try to justify, you having a horrible diet by, scripture said you're going to eat your bread defiled among the Gentiles, so there's nothing you could do about it. Right? Yeah, Satan can present himself like that in your mind to justify, your bad habits, man. But that's the thing. That's why I said, we got to eat the best out of the worst, man. You can't be, don't be stupid, man. Here it is, just sick all the time, right? Your body's always jacked up because what? You have a horrible diet. You have a poor diet. And you justify it. Okay? So let's read this, man. Let's get the prophecy in Ezekiel, the 4th chapter. And we'll start at verse 9. All right, it says, Take thou also, you know what? No. Yeah. Take thou also the wheat and barley and beans and lentils and millet and pinches and put them in one vessel and make thee bread thereof according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon thy side. 390 days thou shalt eat thereof. Okay, so the Lord told Ezekiel to bake, this bread for him to eat while he's going to be laying inside, which where it's going to go into is going to be representing, us eating the foul bread where we would be in captivity. Okay, so this is verse 10. It says, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight, 20 shekels a day. From time to time thou shalt eat it. Thou shalt drink also water by measure, the 6th part of an hin. From time to time thou shalt drink. This is the point in verse 12. It says, and thou shalt eat it as barley cakes. It says, and thou shalt bake it with dung that cometh out of men in their sight. So the food that we will be eating in this captivity is representative to the bread that Ezekiel made, and he had to put shit in there, human feces in there, man. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's the food that we're eating here, man, where the nutriments are stripped away to where that you have to take supplements. We shouldn't be taking supplements, man. The supplements are supposed to be in your foods, but hey, you know what I'm saying? With Esau's pseudoscience, with him giving you GMO and stripping the nutriments from the fruits, hey, you don't get the necessary nutriments that you should necessarily get from the foods that you eat, man. You know what I'm saying? There's all type of additives, okay, and non-perishable additives in the foods, to where that when you eat it, it clogs up your system and it creates sickness. Okay? So it's gonna go on to say, verse 13, and the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their bread defiled among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. You see, so hey, we would be eating our bread defiled where we would be in captivity, especially in this day and age. But once again, that doesn't justify or just give you the leeway to just eat whatever that you want. The Lord said we would eat bread defiled among the Gentiles. So wait, you know what I mean? Eating donuts every day. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you're supposed to take care of your diet, man. Take care of your temple. Okay? Oh, let's get that. We're gonna come back and finish this because Ezekiel's gonna he's gonna plead to the Lord, say, yo, it's too much, man. Ew. You know, human feces, yo, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? But let's get this in First Corinthians. Let's say the third chapter. Uh, yeah, First Corinthians, the third chapter, and verse 16. It says, "Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of the Most High, if any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple ye are. So you're not supposed to defile your temple. Okay, and your temple is your body. Okay, that's where your spirit dwells. Okay, and this temple, it was given to us, it was borrowed. Okay, so how much more you're supposed to take care of it? You know what I'm saying? You don't just justify your bad habits by saying, oh, yeah, we're in the last days, the Lord's gonna come right around the corner, so hey, I don't have to watch my diet like that. I could do whatever I want. Scripture says you shall drink poison and live. I'm under grace, Ark. Doesn't work like that, man. Okay, don't be stupid. And then now you're all jacked up and sick, and now you're asking brothers to pray for you. But what was your diet like? You're drinking sodas, burping. Inside joke. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. And so, to the best of your ability, eat the best out of the worst, man. When you go in the grocery store, read ingredients. Read the ingredients, man, of the things that you're buying, man. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from the big corporate, as best as you can, from the big corporate food brands. I try to do that at least, but, sometimes, hey, you try as best as you can. I'm a work in progress, too. This applies to me, too. Because sometimes, you might get things even though oh, this company is wicked, but, once again, the best out of the worst, man. You read the ingredients. If there's something on there, you don't know what it is, you can't pronounce it, hey, it's best to put it back on the shelf. There's something with the ingredients that you can actually read and know what they are. Okay? If the food has like more than fucking 10 ingredients, man, hey, there's something's off. You know what I'm saying? You get a chocolate bar, there's like fucking 20 ingredients in there, things you can't pronounce. Hey, most likely it's not supposed to be in your system, man. And preservatives, man. Try as much as you can to get perishable foods, man. Because natural foods that goes in your system is supposed to perish. It's supposed to deteriorate. It's supposed to rot. Okay? Bananas rot, apples rot, oranges rot. Okay? Actual real bread is supposed to rot, man. It's supposed to get bad after a few days, man. Okay? No small things like that, man. Try to get things that's like has less preservatives, man. Because you gotta look at it this way. If it has preservatives, that means what? It's gonna stay longer within your body. Your body's gonna take longer to digest it. It takes more strength, more energy. Okay, that's probably a reason why you're tired all the time. Because of your bad diet. Because of all those preservatives that's inside your body. You know? Eh, It's a small labor, man. Just reading the ingredients is not that hard, man. Yeah, it might be, it's grievous because it's not supposed to be so. You're just supposed to, buy your shit, and what you buy is supposed to actually be what it is. But once again, we live in a wicked system. We're in captivity. Ezekiel 4. So read the ingredients, man. You know what I'm saying? You have your phone. Your phone is always on you. When you're shopping, you don't understand. Search it up. Go on Google. What is this? What does this do to the body? And then you say, okay, oh shit, this is poison. Let me put it down. Let me try to get something that's better than this. Right? It's a small labor, but it's gonna be beneficial in the long run. To whether your body's not gonna be jacked up all the time. You know what I'm saying? So don't defile your temple, man. Okay, so back to Ezekiel, the 4th chapter, and where was I? In verse 14. And it says, Then said I, Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, behold, my soul hath not been polluted from my youth up, even till now have I not eaten of that which died of itself, or is torn in pieces, neither came there abominable flesh in my mouth. So it's like, yo, it's too much, Lord. You know? Since from the day I was brought up, I never ate this filth like this, man. You want me to eat man's feces? Right? Because that is too much, man. Hey, shit. Hey, if you knew the things that Esau be giving you to eat, man, you'll be like, fuck, man. You would want to fast 24/7. You know what I'm saying? It says that's why it represents. That's why the Lord told them to bake it with man's feces. Then said he unto me, Lo, I have given thee the cow's dung for man's dung, and thou shalt prepare thy bread therewith. So, eventually, the Lord said, okay, I know that's too much, man. Okay, so bake it with cow's dung, which that in itself it's nasty. Okay, it's feces, man. You know what I'm saying? Feces. Okay, very disgusting. But hey, that's what we're eating today. Shit, we're eating shit, man. So try to get the best out of the worst. Okay, don't just justify it. Don't justify your poor diet in your mind, man. And that word diet goes into lifestyle. Okay, so better your lifestyle, man. We're Israelites. Okay, you're a prince and princesses of the Most High, man. So there's a particular way that you're supposed to live. Oh, let's get that in Daniel, the first chapter, because in the book of Daniel, our forefathers, they took heed unto their diet, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read this quickly. And this is Daniel 1 and verse 4. This you know what? In verse 3, and the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom there was no blemish, referring to the children of Israel, because we were taken captive by the Babylonians. Okay? Specifically, the southern tribes. It goes on and says, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding science, and such as had the ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach their learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat. Okay, we know what the king's meat is. It's a whole lot of carbs, a whole lot of meat, which could clog up your arteries and bring forth diseases. That's why you have something called the king's disease. Okay? Which mass majority of these people, well, all these people, they're living, they have a king's diet, man. They have everything at their disposal. Meat every day, bread every day, wine every day, liquor every day. And that's why eventually, when they get to their 40s, if sometimes in their 30s, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. Because what? That poor diet, man. Yeah, it's very crucial, man. It is very crucial that you take heed unto your health. Because that's part of of this ministry too. Your diet, your health. Which the elder Yashwamba mentioned that previously in one of his lessons. How that your health is part of this truth. It goes on and says, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, and that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requests of the princes of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Okay, so Daniel was like, nah, man, I ain't eating that, man. This is a bad diet. Rather, he requested, something else to eat, which was pulse. Okay, it's gonna go into it. Now the Most High had brought Daniel into the favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs, and the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed you meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. So the eunuch was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that, man, because the king give me specific rules or specific guidelines to give you these provisions to eat so that you could look better than the rest of the children, right? Because to the naked eye, it might seem like, oh, this is very good, very good. We're getting all the food that you want, right? So you're gonna look way better, right? It goes on and says, then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuch had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Meshach, and Shadrach, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the counsel and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and thou shalt see, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So they basically gave a challenge, right? Daniel gave a challenge that, okay, if you don't believe me that the diet that I want to follow, that I'm not gonna look fairer than the others, hey, give us 10 days. Let's try it out. Let's see, right? It says, verse 14. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat of the of that did eat the portion of the king's meat. You see, so right there, man, our forefathers Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you could clearly see, right? They did the test. They were eating a particular diet, pulse. Let's look up that word pulse, man. Okay, it goes again. I think it goes in like the grain, probably eating nuts and greens or whatnot. There we go. This is pulse. It says Zarayan. It says vegetables as sown. Strong's definition of vegetable food pulse. So he was eating vegetables. Alkaline diet. You know what I'm saying? Probably nuts in there. All them greens, them fruits. What? After the 10 days, hey, they appeared more in health. And you see that, man. You could tell when someone is healthy. If their diet is proper by how their countenance looks. They have a certain glow. But when you have a poor diet, your face is all fat. You look tired. You look through. What? Because of your bad diet, man. So hey, we have to take heed onto these things, man. You know what I'm saying? Once again, try to get the best out of the worst, man. So hey, I'm gonna close it up there, man. I give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Lord, one of the sons of Until next time.